You didn't think you'd live here alone, did you? My family took over my house, assigned themselves rooms, and told me to be grateful. They thought I'd stay quiet until they lost everything overnight. Hey everyone, before we dive in, I have a quick favor to ask. If you enjoy content like this, please hit the subscribe button. It's free, supports the channel, and ensures you never miss out on amazing videos. Alright, let's get started. Oh, you finally picked up? We were just discussing who gets which room. I froze. The house keys, warm from my grip, suddenly felt heavy. What? Well, you didn't think you'd live there alone, did you? Mom's voice was light, casual, like she hadn't just ripped the ground out from under me. Your father and I will take the master bedroom, obviously. Your brother needs the room with the big windows. He's always wanted a home office. And your sister, well, she has the kids, so it makes sense for her to take the largest guest room. My breath hitched. Mom, this is my house. Silence. A beat. Just long enough to trick me into thinking she'd finally understood. Then she let out a sigh, the same one she always used when I disappointed her. Sweetheart, don't be selfish. We're family. We just assumed you'd be happy to help. Help. That word. That cursed word. The foundation of my entire existence in this family. They always assumed I'd be happy to help. Like when they assumed I'd be fine paying for every family dinner because I made the most money. Like when they assumed I'd watch my sister's kids every weekend so she could have me time. Like when they assumed my car was our car, my savings were our emergency fund, and my success was theirs to share. I could already picture it, the slow invasion. Mom redecorating her new master bedroom. My brother leaving his work junk all over my house. My sister dumping her kids on me at every opportunity. The fridge emptied, the bills conveniently forgotten. My personal space dissolved into nothingness. And if I dared to protest, I'd be the bad guy, because I'd been here before. 1,000 times. The boundaries I set weren't boundaries to them, just suggestions they could ignore. I swallowed hard, my mind racing. They really thought they could do this to me again. I inhaled slowly, staring up at the house I had worked my ass off for, the house that was supposed to be my sanctuary. I'll call you later. I hung up before she could argue. Then, gripping the key like a weapon, I stepped inside, letting the silence of my house wrap around me like armor. They had no idea what was coming. I barely had time to breathe before the group chat exploded. Sweetheart, we need to talk about the house. So pumped for my new office. When can I bring my desk over? Sister, I told the kids they get to have sleepovers at Auntie's house all the time. They're so excited. My stomach twisted as the messages kept rolling in. They hadn't even asked if they could move in. They had already decided. My fingers hovered over the keyboard, but before I could type a single word, my phone rang. Dad. I sighed and answered. Hey, Dad. Hey, kiddo. His voice was calm. Reasonable. Look, your mother's a little upset. She thinks you're being, well, difficult. Difficult. There it was, the family's favorite word for me. Dad, I just bought this house. For me. Not for everyone else. And no one's saying you can't live there, he said smoothly, as if that was the problem. But think about how much easier it'll be for your mother and me. We're getting older. Do you really want us dealing with mortgage payments at our age? And your sister. Raising kids is expensive, you know. A little support from family wouldn't hurt. A bitter laugh slipped out. Support. Another word you love to twist. You mean the kind of support I never forgot? I shot back. The way I had to work 3 jobs in college while you and Mom funded my sister's gap year in Europe? The way my brother still lives off your money while I had to claw my way to financial stability alone? A sharp inhale from the other end. He didn't like when I brought up facts. That's not fair, Dad said finally. You're right, I said. It's not, and I'm done pretending it is. Before he could argue, I ended the call. I exhaled slowly, pressing my phone against my forehead. They weren't going to stop. I needed a plan. A loud knock rattled my front door. My entire body tensed. No, they wouldn't. I yanked the door open, and there they were, all of them. Mom, Dad, my brother, my sister, standing on my doorstep like they already lived here. We need to talk, Mom said, smiling like she hadn't just tried to hijack my life. We really don't, I said, gripping the doorframe. Oh, don't be like that, my sister chirped, stepping past me like she owned the place. She turned in a slow circle, scanning my entryway. Wow, this is way bigger than I expected. The kids are gonna love it here. The kids who didn't live here, my brother whistled, peering into the living room. Damn, this is nice. Hey, is the basement finished? I was thinking of setting up a gym. Mom sighed dramatically. Sweetheart, we didn't want to do this over text. We just want to have a real conversation, face to face, like family. Family. Another weaponized word. I folded my arms. A conversation about what exactly? Dad clapped a hand on my shoulder, like he was breaking bad news to me. We know this was a big step for you, and we're really proud. But we've been thinking, maybe it'd be best if we all just pulled our resources. I stared at him. What the hell does that even mean? Mom smiled like she was explaining something obvious. It means we help each other out. You have the house, but we can all pitch in to make it a home. Make it a home. They wanted to take my independence and turn it into a communal project. So let me get this straight, I said slowly. I paid for the house, I own the house, but you all think you get to move in, claim rooms, and I'm just supposed to let that happen? Mom's smile faltered. Well, when you put it like that, it sounds like exactly what it is, I cut in. Dad sighed. It's about doing the right thing. For who? Silence. My sister clicked her tongue. Wow, you've really changed, huh? Used to be family-oriented. Guess money does that to people. I barked out a laugh. Yeah? And what does freeloading do to people? Her mouth snapped shut. Mom cleared her throat. We're just asking you to think about this. Really think about it. I already had. And now as I looked at the people who had spent years draining me dry, taking and taking and taking, I was done. I smiled. You know what? You're right. I should think about it. Mom beamed, relief washing over her face. Oh, sweetheart, I knew you'd come around. Yeah, I said, leaning against the doorframe. I'll think about it while you all leave. Right now. Her face dropped. Excuse me? You heard me. I gestured toward the driveway. Out. But. No buts. You're not moving in. You're not taking rooms. You're not turning my house into your personal handout. So you can either leave willingly, or I can call the cops and have them escort you off my property. Their jaws dropped. You wouldn't, my brother scoffed. Try me. The tension crackled like a live wire. For the first time they saw it, really saw it. I wasn't bending. I wasn't budging. I was done. Finally, Mom pursed her lips and turned to leave. You're making a mistake. Maybe, I said, but at least it's mine to make. One by one, they filed out, furious, shocked, defeated. I waited until they were all in their cars before shutting the door. And then for the first time I walked through my house, my empty, quiet, peaceful house. They thought this was over. They had no idea what was coming next. For the next 2 days I waited for the next wave of manipulation, the next attempt to push past my boundaries, because I knew my family. They never accepted no as an answer. And sure enough, it didn't take long. The first sign? The text messages. Mom, sweetheart, we need to talk. You can't just throw your family away over a misunderstanding. Think this through. You're being emotional. We're offering you an opportunity to strengthen family bonds, not push everyone away. Fine. Keep the house to yourself, but don't expect me to help you with anything when you need it. Sister, the kids are crying. They don't understand why Auntie doesn't want them around. Hope you're happy. I almost laughed. There it was, the guilt trip, the emotional blackmail, the carefully crafted messages designed to make me feel like the villain. But I wasn't the same person they had controlled for years. I ignored them, every single one. And that's when they escalated. The knock on my door came at exactly 6 p.m., right on schedule. I didn't even check the peephole. I knew who it was. I opened the door to see Mom, Dad, and my sister standing there with forced smiles and arms full of peace offerings, a basket of fruit, a bottle of wine, a plate of my mom's homemade lasagna. Bribes. Sweetheart, Mom said, voice sickly sweet. We just want to talk. I leaned against the doorframe, unimpressed. We already did. Remember? I said no. You didn't really mean it, she dismissed, stepping forward. Let's sit down, have a nice meal, and discuss things properly. Mom, I deadpanned. Do you think bringing lasagna changes the fact that you tried to hijack my house? Her smile twitched. We're just trying to make things right. Right for who? You mean right for you, I said. My sister sighed dramatically, shifting the plate in her hands. God, you're being so dramatic. We're just asking for a little space. You have like 5 bedrooms, and you don't even have a husband or kids. What do you need all that space for? I blinked. Unbelievable. You're asking me why I need space in my own home. I'm saying it's selfish to keep all this to yourself when we could all be comfortable here together. I almost laughed. The audacity, the sheer entitlement. Right, because my whole life it's always been about making sure you're comfortable, hasn't it? My sister frowned. That's not fair. Isn't it? Because I remember a time when I was working 3 jobs to pay my rent while Mom and Dad covered your European vacation. I remember when I needed help and you were too busy. But I was always expected to drop everything for you. So tell me again why I should care about your comfort? Once, a crack in their armor. Then Mom placed a hand on my arm, her voice dropping into a softer, more serious tone. The final play, the emotional dagger. Honey, she said, this isn't just about us needing space. It's about family. One day you're going to need us. And when that day comes, we won't be there. I tilted my head, studying her. Is that a promise? Her eyes widened slightly, thrown off by my response. Because honestly, I continued, that sounds like a blessing. Enough. I stepped back and started closing the door. Wait! Mom reached for my wrist, her nails digging in slightly. Just think about what you're doing. I pulled free, my voice colder than ice. No, Mom, you think about what you're doing. Because you're about 5 seconds away from me calling the cops to remove you from my property. Her face twisted in shock like she had never expected me to stand my ground. Dad, who had been silent the entire time, finally sighed. Come on, he muttered to Mom and my sister. She's made her choice. Mom scoffed, yanking the plate of lasagna back like she had just realized she wouldn't be invited in. Don't come crying to us when you realize what a mistake you've made. I smiled. Oh, I won't. And with that, I shut the door. For good this time. That night, I finally allowed myself to relax. I poured a glass of wine, kicked my feet up on my couch, and let the silence of my house wrap around me. For the first time in forever, I felt at peace. Until my phone buzzed again. I sighed, picking it up, prepared to ignore yet another guilt trip. Until I saw the message from my realtor. Realtor, hey, just a heads up. I got a weird call from someone claiming to be your mother. She was asking about your mortgage details, loan balance, and if there was any way to transfer ownership of the house. I shut it down, obviously, but figured you should know. My blood ran cold. They weren't just trying to manipulate me. They were trying to take my house. They were actually trying to steal my home. I put my glass down, heart pounding, and then slowly I smiled. Because if they thought this was over, they had no idea what I was about to do next. They really thought they could steal my house, not just move in, not just take over. They were actually trying to take it out from under me. For years, I had played their game, the guilt trips, the manipulation, the endless suffocating demands. But now it was my turn to play. I grabbed my phone, scrolled past the desperate texts from my family, and called my lawyer. "Hey, Ava," I said, my voice eerily calm. "I need to make sure my house is legally untouchable. Can we set that up?" "Absolutely," she said without hesitation. "I'll file everything first thing in the morning." But what happened? I told her everything. By the time I finished, she was silent for a long moment. Then she let out a low whistle. "Damn, that's next-level entitlement. Good news is, since they're not on the deed, they can't touch the house. Bad news, they're probably not done trying." I smirked. "Oh, I know. That's why I'm about to make them wish they never even thought about messing with me." The first thing I did was shut down every financial loophole they had ever used to get to me. I called my bank and removed them as emergency contacts. I updated my will. No more just-in-case clauses for them. I put blocks on their numbers so they couldn't spam me with guilt trips. And just for good measure, I called my employer and made sure my family had zero access to any of my information. I was done being their safety net. The next move was making sure the world saw them for exactly who they were. I started with a little social media post. It wasn't dramatic, just a simple, factual statement. Imagine working your entire life to buy your dream home, only for your family to decide it belongs to them instead. Funny how some people only see you as a wallet, not a person. No names, no direct accusations. But my friends and extended family, they knew. And the comments, brutal. "This is insane. You deserve better. Wait, are you saying your own parents tried to take your house? Pubdifef. Girl, I remember when they made you pay for their cruise while you were still in college. You should have cut them off years ago." The more people commented, the more it spread. And guess who saw it? My mother. She must have lost her mind, because within hours, her response showed up in my inbox. "How could you humiliate us like this? How could you try to steal my house?" It was never about stealing, it was about family. "You've always been ungrateful." "Ungrateful for what? Paying for everything while you drain me dry?" "We need to talk. In person." I laughed. Oh, I bet she wanted to talk, probably to find some new way to twist this in her favor. Too bad for her, I was just getting started. A week later, I got a call from my lawyer. "Hey," Ava said, sounding amused. "So, your parents? They tried to take out a mortgage on your house." I nearly dropped my coffee. "What?" "Yep. They actually went to a lender, pretended they had a stake in the property, and tried to get approved for a massive loan." My hands shook, not with fear, with rage. They weren't just trying to pressure me into giving them space, they were trying to put me in debt. For them. I took a slow, deep breath. And what did the lender say? "Obviously, they shut it down immediately, but now there's a fraud alert on your property," which honestly is probably a good thing. No one can make legal moves on your house without setting off red flags. I closed my eyes, exhaling slowly. They had actually tried to pull a financial scam on me. Enough. I opened my laptop and started typing. Subject: your actions have consequences. Mom, Dad, and whoever else thinks they have a right to my life, I know what you tried to do. I know about the fake mortgage attempt. I know about the manipulation. I know every single disgusting, selfish move you've made. So let me be very clear. You are not welcome in my house. Ever. Any further attempts to mess with my finances will result in legal action. I am done being your bank, your babysitter, and your backup plan. You always said families should support each other, but that only ever seemed to mean me supporting you. Not anymore. You are on your own. Consider this my final goodbye. Me, I hit send. And for the first time in my life, I felt free. The response? Exactly what I expected. Mom flipped out, called me selfish, ungrateful, cold-hearted. Dad tried the disappointed act. My sister demanded to know how I could do this to the kids. I ignored them all. And then something amazing happened. The silence. No more guilt trips. No more emotional manipulation. No more calls, texts, or demands. It was like I had finally erased the parasite they had become in my life. And my house? It stayed mine. I walked through it that night, running my fingers along the walls, the furniture, the windows. It was more than just a house. It was proof. Proof that I had built something for myself. Proof that I didn't owe anyone anything. Proof that I was finally in control of my own life. And as I locked the door, my door, I smiled. Game over. 6 months later, my house was still mine. No surprise visits, no fake apologies, no more family emergencies designed to suck me back in. Just peace. But it didn't last. Because when my family finally resurfaced, it wasn't to apologize, it was to beg. I was at work when I saw the first email. Subject: please, we need to talk. Dad, I know you're still upset, but your mother and I need your help. Things have been difficult lately, and we just need a little support. Please. Carl rolled my eyes. Of course they needed help. They weren't just reaching out because they missed me. They weren't trying to mend the relationship. They weren't apologizing for trying to steal from me. They were just out of money. I didn't reply. 2 days later, another email arrived. Subject: urgent family emergency. Mom, your father lost his job. The mortgage payments are behind. We're at risk of losing the house. I don't know what else to do. Sweetheart, please, we need you. I stared at the screen, letting the words sink in. They weren't just struggling, they were drowning. A few months ago, that message would have broken me. I would have rushed to the bank, drained my savings, done everything in my power to save them. But not anymore. I leaned back in my chair, sipping my coffee as I typed out my response. Me, I hope you figure things out. Good luck. And then I blocked her email. The calls started a week later. First my sister, then my brother, then my father. Again and again, leaving voicemails that got more frantic every time. I ignored every single one, until finally, late one evening, my phone rang one last time. I glanced at the screen. My mother. I debated letting it go to voicemail like all the others. But something in me wanted to hear it, wanted to hear her say it out loud. So I answered. What do you want? I said, my voice cold. She let out a shaky breath. Sweetheart, we're losing the house. Silence stretched between us. And, I asked. We need your help. Her voice wavered. You can afford it. I know you can. There it was. Not I'm sorry, not time. We were wrong. Not even we miss you. Just we need money. You mean the way I needed help all those years and you did nothing? I said. She hesitated. That's different. No, Mom, I said. It's really not. But we're family, she cried. I smiled. That's exactly what you said when you tried to steal my house. Silence, and then in the smallest, weakest voice I had ever heard from her, we have nowhere to go. I thought about it, really thought about it. I pictured them losing the house, packing their things, scrambling for a solution they had never once prepared for, because they had always assumed I would be their safety net. And for the first time in my life, I felt nothing but satisfaction. I'm sure you'll figure it out, I said, and then I hung up. A month later, they were gone, foreclosed, moved out, no longer living in the house they had once tried to make me give up my own home for. I didn't know where they went, and I didn't care. Because for the first time in my life, I was truly, finally, free. And that was worth more than anything they had ever taken from me.